All right, everybody, here we are. Finally, after a
Finally.
lot of technical difficulties and a lot of lateness on me. But we're here, we're live, we're back. The closing table is in full effect. And we're here to talk all of the real estate needs, wants, desires, and questions and answers with the only one, your superhero, your 20th year anniversary superhero at that, the one and only Mr. Dan Pizzi of NextHome Brandywine, and our magic man in the middle, the one and only Mr. Hub Rigel.
Hello, everybody. But let's start there with the caricature of Superman that you did for the 20th. So I had over 700 views on that on LinkedIn. A ton of people looked at it, and I got a lot of hate mail. Clown car that is today's business. The most outrageous gets the most likes. So remember the mermaid nonsense? They hated that. They hated
Sure.
this. But people, so on LinkedIn, I was over 7.
It's actually a positive.
Positive. Yep.
It really is. So it means you're doing something right when people are hating on when you're doing a positive.
Hub's wheels are spinning. Go ahead, Hub.
Well, here's the thing. It's like back in the early 2000s, AM radio had been popular in the 90s. And one of the main things that they wanted to do is they wanted to have radio shows on AM that would have a niche audience. So basically, a niche audience is where they don't care if it's a huge audience. They just want a loyal audience. They want a really fervent audience. So it's basically not how big your audience is, it's how loyal your audience is.
All right, Hub. So does that relate to real estate?
Well, I think it does, because nobody can do everything to everybody. There are people who can do a lot of things, and it's good to be able to dabble in different types of homes that you sell, but you also need to find what you do, what you specialize in. And you can do some of the other stuff, but you don't want to go overboard on the other stuff, because you want to be able to spend time and hone on what you do.
So when an organization, and I'll drop the name tonight, I don't usually like a Compass, their existence is that they have the best of the best real estate professionals in the business. That's their claim, that they have the top tier realtors in the business, and that's who they want to be affiliated with under the brand of Compass. Okay, so relating back to what you're talking about, a loyal brand, I find that a lot of what people spew is hyperbole with some of this stuff. And I'm going to give you an example here tonight, which kind of annoyed me today. One thing I'll tell you straight out. We don't clown car stuff at NextHome Brandywine. It's professional, old school real estate like we talk about. Hub, we say learned. It's true. It's a business. I mean, we do fun stuff like Bay did the Superman and Me for 20 years for engagements, and it was a fun thing to do. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty of the business, this is real professional, serious business at NextHome and at NextHome Brandywine. I made an appointment for a $1.5 million house this week. And we made the appointment 5 days in advance, and we carved out a 1.5 hour block of time to see the property. The agent sends me a message through Messenger, through our portal, and says, there's another showing going through at the same time as you. Okay, I made the appointment what is this, a joke here? I made the appointment 5 days ago. It's a $1.5 million property. It's a small sector. You want privacy, and they're larger homes when you're going through. So I called and I said, what let me clarify here. You're overlapping my appointment with another appointment, like it's a fixer-upper property and we're milling through people. Oh, and then I got a little pushback because I called up and I didn't let it go, and I got pushback on it. I find today that what people say is not always true. Vet people, look at their reviews, and stop the nonsense and the madness with the clown car nonsense we're doing right now. I talk David L. Stinson, right? You can say what you want about the guy. We learned professional real estate. You cannot allow another showing through on a property when you already have it scheduled. I mean, some of the stuff that's going on, we just booked another deal. This is my rant this week. That's why you call Dan Pizzi, games are over. No clowns, professionals, old school real estate, especially right now that we're busy. We're going to get you to where you need to be without a lot of fluff and nonsense in the middle. I just had another one. We booked a new home development, modular development, and the deal is in two parts. One is with the builder of the modular home, and the other was with the park management company. 3 days, I didn't get a response from the park management people after I booked the deal and we got it signed. Like, where's the professionalism anymore? What are we doing? I mean, this is crazy anymore. I know it's bad weather, but we all have a job to do. Like, even Hub, the precision when you're as far as you being a musician, there's standards that you want to adhere to, and you don't want to, you don't want to waver on that stuff.
So what happened with the modular home?
So there's some new communities around here, which is slightly different than the norm. We're having these lot rent modular communities, which are getting more popular. So when you have to rent the land that the modulars are on. So when
that's sort of like a mobile home type thing.
Sort of, right, and they're nicer. So it's a high end, it's a high end over 55. Basically, what they would call a modular mobile home type community. They're DMBs. They bring them in prefab. So you do the deal with the builder for the unit itself, and then you have to work with the park management people to be approved to live in the park, right? So they want to vet everybody. 3 days went by before I got an answer from the park management people on when we were going to set up a meeting to do the application for my clients. I did all my stuff timely, got it in. So I get an email back from the point of contact today saying, they said to me, do your people know what to bring for when we do the application? How the hell? That's your job. That ain't my job. You're supposed to tell me what my people's supposed to bring, and as my people's representation, I'm bringing them over there. And these are people that are coming from out of state. They're coming from the South up here, and it's a big move, and they're senior citizens. And this mobile park is over 55 only. Don't you think if you're the park manager that you would be more hands-on and understanding you're dealing with senior citizens, and they might be a little slower, not as quick with some of this stuff as younger people might be? I mean, I find this is the difference. I don't go out there and we talked about that picture with the Superman. I don't do that often, right? So that was a fun thing we did for my 20th anniversary. We do serious business, serious business. And I sometimes today, the details lacking, the professionalism's lacking. And I think we talk about Hub, we joke about it, but we talk about learned. It's lacking. I mean, something's got, and we're really busy. So something's got to change.
Well,
go ahead, Hub. No, go ahead.
The thing is that when I first came into town and I was teaching guitar in a store, and there was a guy competing store, and the guy would tell everybody that his teacher was the best in the town. But there's a quote from Napoleon Hill or Andrew Carnegie, one of them guys, and says, "Never trust somebody who says they're better, they are the best, and they know everything." Because there are really, really good, talented people, but nobody's the best at everything. The same thing with mechanics, everything. Everybody has, to a degree, has to specialize in what they do. They should be able to do generally most things.
I agree.
Is that right? But I mean, you're going to, like your agents, you're going to send, and now Lisa is an agent of yours. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. So
you're going to send different people to Lisa than you're going to send to another guy. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah, and it's not that she can't do the other guy's thing, because she can sometimes, but she has a clientele that she really specializes in, because you can't just do that. Everybody can't do that. But it's neat that they can dabble in it a little bit, and they really need to in case they have to. Because a lot of times the people that you think you might send her might be a little bit different, so she gets more versatile and she gets to learn.
100%.
Yeah.
Let's bring Bay in here. Bay, what do you got on that point?
Sorry if I talked too much.
No, you're good.
No, not at all. My question is this situation, because it seems like maybe it's me, but it seems like this situation is a growing situation across the board with any, I don't know if you want to call it vendor or, you know, client you're dealing with across the board is dropping the ball everywhere. And it's funny, the last few years, me and Coco have had this conversation. Whatever business we're dealing with, and we just literally had this conversation a half hour, 45 minutes ago, and I put the post on Facebook if people saw it, particularly kind of about the situation. Like, the more you're dealing with human beings, it's like they're dropping the ball in their job and they don't care what they're doing. And they're complete, as we would say in Italian, Dan would know, stunat.
Yep.
It's just,
And,
it's a careless act amongst people in their job. Like, they just don't care
and
anymore.
and and to that point, everything's expensive today. From 10 years
Yes,
ago,
yes,
everything's so much more money. So you're paying for quality of service, and I'm so mindful of it. Like the modular homes used to be 150,000, now they're 300,000. We're so mindful
really.
of what
Wow.
people are.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we're mindful, and they're nice, and there's a lot of pluses in this stuff, but. And it's a fit for my particular buyers in this scenario, but we're so mindful of, you have to know, it's sloppy, like you said, the carelessness and the ignorance and this sloppy, just slap it up attitude, and people are paying top dollar. I get excited about it. I got to kind of chameleon and kind of go with it and just get to where we need to be. But I just find it really, really ignorant that you don't respect your client or the people you're dealing with. And if you don't, like I always used to say, if you don't like working at the store, get another job. But you owe it to them to do the best job. You're there. They're paying you. You're representing a brand. Like, I represent not only myself, but my agents. I had a guy call me
Right.
today from EXP trying to recruit me, and he didn't know I owned a Next Home franchise. So I said to him, "Did you do your homework?" And he said, "Obviously, I didn't. I didn't do enough homework on you." And we had a really nice conversation. I said, "You know, you're a clown. You call me on the phone. You say, 'Hey, Dan, this is
That's why I love
Marty.
Dan.
I'm going. I said, 'Who are you?' 'I'm Marty Jones.' But I go, 'Dude, I don't even know who you are. Who are you? Where'd you come from?" He goes, "I just started less than 2 years ago." I said, "So you just called the guy, 20 years in the real estate business, trained by David L. Stinson III, family-owned Century 21 for 45 years. My cousin Linda was a regional recruiter in the business for 30 years. We were known in the area, the family. Stanley Lesniak was part owner of the original Century 21 Absolute Company." The guy calls me up. He has no idea who I am. And then he wants it because he sees my numbers are good. Wait till I sell this house in the million plus range. I'm going to get 60 people calling me out of the blue that I don't even know who they are, asking me to come to their organization, only looking at numbers. And to Hub's point, it's more than that. It's about, like Hub said, you hope to know a lot about your profession, but it's just a sloppy mess right now with the way people. I had a really nice conversation with this guy. He says, "Would you mind talking with my guy?" I said, "How long? Who's this guy? This guy, blah, blah, blah." I go, "Who is he? How long's he been in the business?" 8 years. I said, "I've been in the business 20. This guy, you guys are new. There's pop.
Your
I
babies.
like, you can learn. Yeah, I can learn from everybody. Like Cub said, I learn
Yeah.
from everybody, and I do. I just learned from another agent, a new mortgage product. But don't call me up. I own a national franchise. We got 675 offices. You're calling me up and asking me. My wife says, "Why do you pick up the phone?" Well, I pick up the phone in case it's one of my clients or if it's a new
Right.
client, because our business is yapping. I mean, that's
Yeah.
our business. That's how we get. It's how we get business. But I just think, in my opinion, we need to clean it up. We work so hard. We're nobodies. We're a small office. But Lisa, myself, Evelyn, Bo's sons, Matt and Mason, we try to be professional and really care and hone in and on. We talk about humans over houses. That's what we
Right.
do. Well, my buddy Ed Speck on your post put, "Dan always puts his clients over himself. Congratulations on your 20 years." People know that that's what we do at Next Home, but the sloppiness is killing me. And when I look people up, this lady, I just did a condo last week, and this lady, the paperwork needed to be adjusted. It wasn't my job to adjust the paperwork, it was hers. Guess who had to do it? Me. I looked her up. She did 13 million bucks last year.
But
13 million, and Dan's going to fix it. I got it. Don't worry about it.
all
I'll
right, so
fix the paperwork.
all right. This is a great topic, Dan, because that's not your job. But
Right.
now, because you care so much about your clients who are buying the house, and B, overall, just the process of the job itself, to have it done right, where you got to step in and fix people's jobs who are, look, you're not paying for them. Nothing in this is being paid for out of your pocket. It's being paid for out of, sadly, the customer's pocket. And you got to go in and fix it and make sure it's right. Like, it's a very frustrating process, because you got to go back and spot check and make sure everything's done right. But in the I don't want to say the process of today, but like in the work ethic of today, this is what we're dealing with people, where it's your business. It's the Next Home Brandywine name, but it's your business and your clients, and you got to go back and you got to fix people's faux pas because they dropped the ball. And it's a sad situation, but it's a positive situation, because this is the type of work ethic and product and customer service you're going to receive from somebody like Dan Pizzi and NextHome Brandywine, because he's going to be there to make sure it's done right.
And I'll say this before we bring Hub back in here. Dave Stinson told us one time, we had this guy, Bruce, who sat with me, and he didn't want to do certain things. And Dave said, Bruce, my boy, if you don't do the other person's job, you're never going to get to the table and get your check. So sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, and you learn along the way. You put in the time and effort, but you have to cross over, because we don't get paid till at the table, right? So our money, we don't get paid up front. There's no up front for us. So we don't get paid every week. So we might be working with somebody 8 to 10, 12 weeks before we get paid. So a lot of times, like you said, why couldn't you just have a big list?
And that's not a guarantee. That's not a guarantee.
And my mom's friend one time had the daughter got her first deal. Oh, so-and-so got her first deal. And she was basically counting her money before it went to the table. And I never count my money until they hand me my piece of paper and I bring it to the bank.
Right.
Because you're not done until you close on the property of who you're representing. Go ahead, Hub.
Well, it's like you say, I think the best thing to do is to refresh on the basics. Everybody needs to refresh on the basics. And I really like that quote there from Dave Stinson III, that we need to realize that some of the time we're going to have to do some of other people's job. That's just that we got to be realistic about what's going on. And that's a great thing, because I always look at everything as like, did I get to where I wanted to go to? Sometimes I had to pay more work. I had to pay, meaning not money, but I had to give more to get where I wanted to go. But that's just how life works. You never know what you're going to have to give to get what you want.
So in our business, almost like you have, when you had people coming to you to learn how to play musical instruments, it's hard for us to procure new business, because I'm not on Zillow. For us and for our small brokerage, it's all sphere of influence and word of mouth referrals. I mean, we do a lot with the minor league sports teams, but a lot of that is just for brand awareness. And I find myself getting frustrated, because I know our quality of service is that much better. And I just said to the guy today I was talking to from EXP, I said, if I don't know something, and like Hub, you kind of referenced it, I have a list of people that are specialized in certain areas that I can call and say, hey, you have more experience. Like, I know my friend Mark Reale is really good at new construction. And with this one I'm working on, I don't do a whole lot of new construction. I can call Mark and ask specific questions if I'm not 100% sure. That's the difference. And Hub, I'm sure you do that, because there's little things, small things that can really make you better at your job. if you are mindful of it, we laugh about it, but we say learned. Have some pride for your brand, for your other agents, for your industry, and become learned and put that in. If you can't remember stuff, I write stuff in a book and I put a tab on it for every instance. Like I said before, I could go to Dave Stinson today and give him a scenario, and he will spit out the name of the person, the year, where it was at, and what the scenario was that matched what I was trying to do today. And he would say, "This is how you handle that." It
And
was
I think,
sweet.
Dan, it's about going back to the founding fathers, the guys who were back in the day really knew the basics and the fundamentals of what you're doing. And once you've got the fundamentals really don't change. There's ways that you have to adapt modern technology to them, but the basic fundamentals and the rules are all the same. And
So,
new people come in and they want to think that they can just come in and start all over without going back to the guys that they really learned from.
so
And it's all about learning from experts. You
to
got to.
that point, Hub, why don't we learn from the elders? Why do young people look
Well,
at seniors and see an exterior of an old person and not respect the knowledge?
Well, you'd be surprised. They actually do. The people that you want as the good customers actually do. They do respect you the more older you get. In construction, handyman work, all that kind of stuff, they actually do appreciate you
You think
when you
this
get.
younger generation does?
I think they do, and I think that the ones that have something on the ball are really, really watching. And there's a good percentage of people that don't, but the 20% of the people that you might be your niche following and your niche customers really are going to when they bond with you.
It's a good
And
point.
they're going to come back to you and they're going to tell you people, they're going to send you people because they're going to appreciate the higher quality. And
So I got a friend.
and when I was in a store and I was teaching with a lady who was in her like late 70s at first, and I said, I don't know. I said, you think I'll still be having a lot of students when I'm older? She says, no, don't worry about getting older. She said, because people respect you when you get older because they know you have a lot of knowledge and experience. Same thing with handyman work, air conditioning work. All these people, these old guys, man, they know what they're talking about.
I
It's
hope
all about
people can.
experience.
I hope people can appreciate that. I got a guy that I've
There,
done
there
work.
are people that do, Dan. There are people that do, and those are the ones that you want for your business.
It's
And
true.
that's
Like the one guy, Hub, I got. I dealt with him. I dealt with his new wife, her ex-husband, his mother, his sister, and now his daughter, because he tells them come back to me because he appreciates the quality of service.
why do we like an older man to be a president? Because he has experience and he knows what he's talking about.
We hope that. Bay, what do you think on that topic, on that subject, as far as experience?
We do need thing. We do need. I'm sorry for interrupting, but I'm not going to say it's black and white. We do need modern ideas, but we also need some of the fundamentals, and we
I
need people
agree.
with experience. We need. There is a balance. We do need to be modern, but I can tell you a story about that later. I want Bay to talk.
Honestly, I agree with Hub because something I've learned as I've gotten older and I started to dye my beard to hide the grays from my experience is that
Is that because Jizzy told you that? Remember that?
I'll never forget that.
He
But
told Bay that Bay needed to join the hair club for men.
for the lead singer of Quiet Riot, when I interviewed him, we had a discussion about like dyeing.
I hope you don't mind me bringing that up.
No, it's funny, but it's true because I still have the knowledge no matter what, but it makes me feel better personally. But I realize with age comes experience, and I have these discussions all the time. I'm going to be 56 in a couple months. When I was having discussions at 26, 36, and even 46, where you thought you knew it all, and I've had bought houses in that age, paying mortgages and all that stuff of real life, children, everything. You really didn't know nothing until you get older. And really, I feel like as you get past 50, you really start to experience and come to age and realize the reality of life and situations. And the biggest thing that my mother always said to me was the biggest investment and purchase you're ever going to make is a home. And it's the most important. It really is, no matter what. Like we buy you can go out and buy a $150,000 Escalade, a $500,000 Lamborghini, but you can't live out of that. I'll go buy a $300,000 or $350,000 home and live out of that for the remainder of my years.
And cars depreciate. A lot of those, the homes, you hope in a lot of instances,
Bingo.
So we're
appreciate.
We're getting a lot of wisdom from some people in the past, like Dave Stinson and Bay's mom.
Yeah,
And a lot
it's
of
true.
great pearls.
And we have to make happen. Look, we're on episode 41, I think it is, or 42. We need to have Dave Stinson on this podcast.
I asked him to do an interview. Dude is still busy and still wears a shirt and tie every day, 7 days a week. He's still busy. I asked him, I said, can we sit down for an interview? Bay, you should do this with me because you're 10 times better interviewer than I am. And I said, just interview you about, I think this year, he's 84. So 66, 76 and 9, what is he? Was 18. So do the math. So that's how long he's been in this business.
Wow.
It's amazing what they've done. And his father was in the business, his brother Andy, who passed away. But what they were, and he's had positives and negative experiences, but
Sure.
his knowledge and his ability to willingly help people that wanted to learn. This is what I found. That's why I tell these new people. We were on a 50-50 split. Now they come out of school, they want 80 and 90% split. Where they get 80 or 90, the brokerage gets 10. I split my money with him on every deal. You know why? I was getting knowledge from him. I was getting something from my Invent Hub. You made that point where you would have to do more, right? So I was giving more of my money because I was getting the knowledge from an extremely wise veteran real estate agent. And now I own my own brokerage and I take 90% of the money and 10 go back in. But that's after 20 years. And I was on 50-50 with him for 4.5 years. But look how much knowledge I was able to get. And I was able to carve out a career because of him. Ray McKinney, Linda, and the people at Century 21, because they did good, clean, professional real estate without all of the caricature nonsense.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it says it all.
Yeah, and the thing is, it is about knowledge, and I don't agree with this concept in every situation, but it's in the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and the thing that rich parents tell their kids that poor parents don't tell their kids is that rich parents tell their kids, take the job that you will not make the most money from necessarily, but you take the job that you will learn the most from and develop the most skills from, because nobody can take your skills away.
Yes. And we talk about that like you're a musician that can't take the skill away. When I got laid off, when I saw people getting age discriminated and we got laid off from project management work in the telecom business, I went and got my bartender's license and my real estate license, bartender certificate, and my real estate license, because I wanted something that was more foolproof. Like I said, Jim Hay sat next to me at 94 at Weichert. He died that week. He was writing an offer at 94 years old, and he passed that week. But the week he was died, he wrote an offer for real estate. They couldn't push him out the door. Let's do this. We got a few minutes left here. I want to shift gears into a couple things of what's going on in everybody's marketplace. Bay, we talk about all the time. We have national referrals. I told the guy from EXP today, I do a lot of referral business. So we have national referrals, whether you're in Nashville, Tennessee, when you're in outside of Dallas, Texas, when you're in Philadelphia, or anywhere in between. We have national referrals that we can help you find a professional next home realtor. We have a terrific network of agents. Bet your area down there. Well, we got clobbered again with snow.
I want to ask you about that. Go ahead.
My sister got 20.5 inches in Langhorne. I only got 8 to 9 inches, but I talked to my buddy Mike Gerace, who owns a trucking company, and down in Delaware County by the airport and where Danny is at LaSalle University, they had about 14 inches down there. And it kind of cleared up.
Seems average.
It was very wet. So it really, my driveway is dry. It was so wet that when the sun hit it or you mashed it a little bit, it just kind of disintegrated. But we had some areas got the Wildwood, 2 foot. They got a mess down there. They're going to have flooding down there. So, and that's why I want to ask you is what's going on in your markets. We're so busy. This is the biggest. This might be the busiest in 20 years out of the gate that I've seen in because we have weather. You guys have a little better weather in those states than we have up here as far as severe weather. So we're seeing a really early market for real estate. Bay, your market down there, what's going on?
So we've been pretty like it's scary. The past week, like weather-wise, we were 60s and 70s.
Yep, see?
Until yesterday, it started dropping. It was in the 40s. Today's back in the 20s. Probably part of what you guys are hitting. Thank God we're not getting any snow or rain or anything. But how bad does that affect the real estate market when you have this weather like this?
That's why I want to talk about it as it relates to the real estate. It used to clobber us. I mean, throughout, you look at the trend throughout history up here in the Northeast, November you slowed down up to Thanksgiving, and one of the reasons was you were coming into holidays, but the other reason was you were coming into bad cold weather, and people really did, unless they had to move, they didn't want to move. The kids are in school, so they have a large percentage, so there's other factors, but a lot of it had to do with the weather. And then after Super Bowl, people started to perk up inherently. People say why? I don't know. All I can tell you is when the Super Bowl's over, no matter what week it is every year, that people start looking. But now people were buying. People were offering 2 and 3, 4 offers on every. I've done townhome. I've done a row home in Lansdowne. I've done a modular. I'm working on a big multi-million-dollar deal I'm working on right now. I've done a condo. We've done so many different types of housing, but every segment is busy with multiple offers on properties, and the prices are not good to me. They haven't moderated where I thought they would
They're
be.
not good, but the interest rate has gone down to a little more comfortable rate.
Yep.
But we don't know. I'm guessing that they're going to even go down just a little bit more too.
5.9. I looked at it before we jumped on. We're at on new home purchase national average 5.96, just under 6%, with a yield that's like 6.1. I do think if we get closer to 5.5, it's going to be you got a lot of new construction down by Hub. I don't know about Bay. I know you got a ton of new construction down there.
Yeah.
Hub, how about you?
It's unbelievable.
We do, but there's just so many properties available right now. So that's just what it is.
Is the prices coming down, Hub, because of the supply and demand, or no?
I think they will, and I think they are. I mean, and a lot of people are just not looking because there's just so many properties available, and it's all really basically all about location. It's all about location.
But it's like what Hub's saying. Like I get when I first moved here to Nashville, I had because I was initially in the market before my divorce. I had a thing set up, but anyway, regardless. So I signed up on Redfin.
Right.
Because I was looking at houses. So I still 7 years later, I get those daily emails.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I look through them, and like some of them, I'm just okay. So and I'll lead into this. Some of them were like insanely overpriced. And I'm like, hell, like this is crazy. This is just stupid. Being from the Delco, Chesco, Philadelphia area, I'm like, what they're paying for down here, we would get double up there for.
So real quick on that point, your old development in Aston, right?
Yes.
You want to take a guess what they're going for? And they're not new. You know that. They're a little bit older property. So, like 4 years old.
My old house, which I paid $87,000 for, I think in 99, my ex sold for 300.
Ready? They're pushing 4.
No.
Yeah, look at Bay. We had a low. You know, they're like 380.
No,
They're like 380.
stop.
Nope, that's where they're at. And
You
I
know
put it up.
why? I'll tell you why. Because this was, as we'd say in the wrestling business, this was the gimmick. Because that area was a very, I
Yep.
fell under a very prestigious
Yes.
school district,
Right.
Garnet Valley School District. We were the cheapest real estate taxes in the district.
And you, like Cub just said, it's location. So you were a good location to jump off to the
Yes.
highway and get places, right?
Yes.
Delaware and all. You had
Yep.
an excellent school district, which we're not allowed to talk to
Yes.
people about, but buyers look at that.
Yes.
And it was a reasonable price. I have a lot of foreigners that are the school districts are number one, like Indians and Pakistanis that come over here and work over here and buy. I just put a guy in, and they were from India. She worked for, I think, SAP, the wife, big job, and she came here, and that was why they wanted to be there, because of the school district.
Mhm.
You know,
It's
and like Cub said, it's people trying to find reasonable housing in good location. I see houses in Downingtown up here. They're really in bad shape, but they're older, small singles, and people are lining up for them because it's still fairly affordable, even though there's a lot of deferred maintenance, and it's the location in the school district that they want to be in.
Now
It's
let me
also
ask
the
you this
freeway
question.
access.
And that was where
That's a
Ben
huge
was.
thing.
It was
Huge
freeway.
thing.
He was Aston was close to 95, and that's
Yes.
the major interstate. It was a 5-minute ride to the or down 452 to the major
Yep.
interstate.
Yep. Now let me ask you this question, Dan, because here in Nashville, a huge thing that is happening in the last week or so, the major tourist area of Nashville is Broadway, which is this 5-6 block stretch, and the side streets, and it's all the honky tonks, and all the tourists come there, and that's where they go. The new mayor, and it's a whole, and I don't get into this whole political BS, but this new mayor is raising the taxes.
Yep.
42% to those honky tonks down there and those buildings down there, and to the county. 42%. So I saw a news report the other day that, like, some of the honky tonks who pay, check this out, $140,000 a year in real estate taxes are now going to start paying $600,000 a year in real estate taxes.
Who's going to absorb it? Not them. They have to pass it on. Let's finish with this. And Hub, I know you sent me some stuff on this too. Our boy Mondami in New York. So he wants to put a friend. Hub's smiling. I love Hub. If Hub's one of the smartest guys for me. So this guy he wants to put a rent freeze on, so you can't raise the rents. And he wants to, just to your point, raise the taxes on the owners of the properties, right? And he has all these other things that he wants to do. I read an article on foxbusiness.com on Sunday morning, and it was a guy that was very involved in New York City real estate. He was a foreign gentleman. He was in the business for a long time up there. He says they're coming to him wanting to sell left and right because, according to Mondami, he wants the property owner to take a huge beating. Bay, how can they spend $400,000 more, say, in those honky tonk areas,
exactly,
and not pass the cost along to the people
that are
coming in?
I'll be right back.
Go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. That's just going to be untenable for those venues, because people will find a way to put entertainment that's more affordable, because the national acts that you might spend $150, $200 to go see a real legacy band or a legacy artist, somebody who's an icon. And now you've got these tribute bands that are in every major city that are doing a impersonation that's very, very affordable, and everybody can go to see it. So it's all about supply and demand. But if you give that's too big of an ask to ask that
Yes,
much money
correct.
for that to those. It's unreasonable, and they don't know. The people that are trying to charge that don't know what they're talking about.
Correct.
They
And
don't
I'll give
know. They have
I-
no business sense, and they have no business being doing that because it's not working. It's not going to
I'll
work.
give you this thing that I follow Las Vegas. I love Las Vegas and I love the market over there. They were saying that the Las Vegas casinos would rather raise the room prices and have less occupancy than lower the room prices and have more people coming in and filling up the hotels. They said that those people that buy at the low points aren't the big spenders and they have to pay for the rooms to be cleaned and a lot of extra maintenance to carry those people as guests. So now the new business model in Las Vegas is less is more. We're going to jack the prices up on everything and we're going to have less guests come here, but we're making more margin.
Yeah, but they're having major problems, and I'm
Yes.
not sure that's a good philosophy either.
Well,
Um,
Hub, it's backfired so far, and
yeah,
the tourism is down on just under 8% year over year, and it started out the new year bad because people feel like they're not getting a value, they're getting gouged, they're not coming. And this comes full circle to everything we talk about: inequality of service and the value people think they're getting for the services rendered.
and like I was telling you earlier, that people actually really do. The majority of people don't know that you have more experience and that they don't know your value. But the people that do, those are the ones that you're going to get other customers from,
Correct.
and those are the ones that you want to focus on. So
So,
it's basically to make your set, like we're talking about getting more skills. It's about you getting more skills, you becoming more learned and more knowledgeable, and then you'll have people that will use you for business because you know what you're talking about
and
because you
we
actually
treat
have
everybody the
experience and
same, Hub.
knowledge.
And we
What?
treat everybody the same, whether it's a $50,000 house or if it's $1.5 million house. Everybody gets treated the same. I do it in everything that I do, even when I worked at big companies, from the maintenance people to the security people, everybody is equal. We treat everybody the same, whether you're a multimillionaire or you're a 9 to 5 person that has $10 in the bank. We don't discriminate for any reason, and we're glad to help everybody across the board. Other people, I'm sorry, but not everybody wants every market segment. I'll go to Chester for 20 grand if it's going to help somebody, right? Because you'll get the referral out of them, you know.
and
So
and and it will hone your skills in a different
yes,
area,
yes.
and you'll learn something, and then those skills will make you valuable for something else, and you'll be amazed at the skills that you learned from something you didn't think was all that great, applying something else, and then you're able to do a better job and get more money in another job from what you learned on the other job.
And didn't you say like people come into you and want to play one of the hardest songs and they're just learning how to play an instrument and they have to learn other songs and build themselves up to being able to play
Yeah,
certain types of music?
of course, and that's everybody wants to get instant gratification, and that's the
Correct.
hardest thing to teach us. It's to teach a younger person is long-term thinking,
That's
and
exactly
that's
right.
we all have to learn it. Matter of fact, the reason it's harder to teach a younger person long-term thinking is because, and this is getting back into science, it's sort of a different subject, but it's still the same reason. It's because the brain's not developed there yet into the long-term thinking, which is strategic thinking, and you're thinking about, if I do this, what will happen.
Yes.
They just want the goodies right now.
Right. Right. I was telling this guy today, people come out of school and we were saying my goal was one a quarter when I started, one real estate deal every 3 months. For my first year, that was the goal. People come out, I want to do 20 deals. I do 20 deals after 20 years. You're not going to do
Wow.
20 years coming out of school.
No.
You have to get to one, then 3 and 5 and 7, and work your way up to one a month, and then you're sustainable to make a living in the business. But it's putting in the work, and that's what this whole episode was about, to get to
And
where you want
any
to be.
teacher will confirm what you just said, because the person coming in wanting to, let's say, take 2 lessons a week and practice 3 hours a day is going to quit after about 2 weeks
They
because they're going
do.
to. And the person who comes in and just, I want to just learn this little old thing. I don't care. I'm just having fun. They end up being
Yes.
really amazing because they didn't overdo themselves, and they just
Correct.
they paced themselves.
Danny told me he was in a class. He said, "Daddy, a couple people in the class want to go in the real estate business, right? So, and I laughed. I said, it's a tough business, but if you start early, like Hub said, and you build it, and you do something else to supplement your income while you're building it, you could carve out a nice career if you're 20, 21. By the time you're 27, 28, 29, and you do it the right way, I thought about it because my first thought, I'm always negative. I thought, oh God, good luck to these poor young guys that are in college and they want to go into real estate business. But you actually could do well if you work at your craft, and that's kind of, we'll wrap it up. That's kind of the theme of this week's episode. And Bay says that's why he loves me. I get passionate. I care about you, and and appreciate the fact that you came to Next Home Brandywine and trusted us. And what Bay said is, with the biggest purchase you're going to make, one of the most important things you're going to do is put a roof over your head. And I think sometimes people don't respect it, and we do things that,
Agreed.
right? We do things that, to Hub's point, that we shouldn't do, but we know we have to do to get to where we want to be.
Well, going back, Dan, I want to say this too, because we've been doing this social media podcast combination for about 5 years now, and along those 5 years, there's probably been at least a handful of people that have come on board with the Next Home Brandywine team that had the visions of grandeur of being a real estate agent. And Dan has given them the spotlight, the promotion, the red carpet rollout. And within, and this is being kind, 60 days, you see them fade away. It's not an easy business. It's a very tough business. And like you said, you got to have something going as you're building yourself.
Right. And that's why we got your buddy from the car business on, because it's a similar type business.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They're hard. Not everybody can do this. I can't play instruments like Hub. I watch people in the orchestra and say, man, I wish I still played the French horn. The skill set you have to have, but the time and the dedication put into it. This business is not what you see on TV opening the doors. You should see the stuff we do for people. I mean, it's wild. The behind the scenes stuff, liens on properties from 40 years ago that you got to correct, estates, so many different things involved in the transaction. The order and the resale search for these associations. And we have these new websites now that charge you a fortune to order resale documents for associations. And it was $500 for the resale package for my neighbor across the street, Terry. We're selling her house this Friday. And we got the packet, right? And I just sent it over, right? Because it's a big, long packet of nonsense for the resale docs. So they got back to me from the bank and said, the insurance cert for the homeowners association isn't in the packet. The packet was 5 bills. So I had to reach out to the homeowners association, because they use this online portal called HomeWise. They upload everything in there. Thank God the guy picked up the phone. And I said, John, it's a blank page. They need to see that the homeowners association have insurance, because that's one of the criteria for the bank to loan, because the association is deeded to the property. People don't know this stuff. So he sent it to me, but I'm thinking $500, and I had to go back and do more work because you didn't send me the insurance. If people don't know, like if you have a townhome or somewhere that has an association, that is on your deed. So if someone's going to lend on it, there's criteria and information that the lender needs from the homeowners association for them to lend on the property. There's so many things that go into this, and there's so much legality. But like you said, Bay, it's and Hub, and people don't take the time to learn. My mom used to say to me, you think everything's easy. It's true. Like, people think everything's easy. Oh, I could play that instrument like Hub. I could pick up that guitar. It's easy. Like, people don't get it. Like, there's so much time, and you got to pay people. But I find that if you're a cartoon character, and that we go back to that Superman thing, right? My son said, "Take that shit down." I got 700 and some people looked at that.
We're gonna put it. I'm gonna put it again. What's today? The 23rd. I'm gonna put it 2 more times by the end of the month.
Danny's going to tell you. He says, "What's that guy's name, Bay? Tell that dude to take that shit down." Now
I'm gonna put it double.
You got a 19-year-old kid. It's a different thing. Real quick on him. You live through your kids. Take a look on my Facebook page. He just did an update on his tech segment for LaSalle TV. They asked him to be one of the main people on LaSalle TV next year. They asked him to take over his own show next year. Here's a kid that was extremely,
Nice.
yeah. It's called Backstage Pass. It's a variety show.
Okay.
So they asked him and another girl to be the host, the co-host on this variety. Like it's like an extra type show. Music, it's something you would like, because it's like a little bit of everything. Music, entertainment, the whole thing. And they asked him to produce it, write it, on screen, the whole thing, soup to nuts.
Well, here's the important question. How was Dad handling? Look, he was your partner in crime.
Oh, yeah.
How are you as dad, person, human, father, and look, whatever you do in your own personal life ends up reflecting to your business life.
Yeah, right.
How are you maintaining the waves as your partner in crime is away at college?
Yeah, it was, and my buddy Mike Gallahan, son's a year older, so he really prepped me for the different phases that you go through as they grow and move on and learn and become their own person. So Mike really helped me with that. He told me kind of, because he used to do a lot with his son. But I enjoy even the kids I coached in basketball. I just saw a kid. Me and Danny was home last weekend. He came home to get his haircut, and I saw a young guy that's out of college now that I coached in basketball. So I enjoy seeing them grow. He's actually, spring break is in 3 weeks, and we're going to see the Phillies in Florida.
Nice.
So
Nice.
we have that Avelo's flying out of Delaware now. So we're going to grab a quick, cheap flight down, and we're going to go see the Orioles and the Phillies.
Are you going to be in town on the 21st? I'll just say the date is the 21st. Are you going to be in town on the 21st?
Of March?
Yes.
March? I'm coming home that day.
Get your
When are you
ass
coming to
Manio.
Dallas?
That's a good question.
Guess what, Hub? I was supposed to come during that week for our conference. I decided not to go because I could only do with Joe, with my disabled son and my wife and everything going on here, helping my buddy with his transportation company. I can only do, I was going to come to Dallas for the conference. I'm skipping the conference. The owners meeting is in Nashville in September. So I'm thinking about doing the owner. See, they want you to do
So
both.
when you coming here, Hub?
Soon. So it's actually not that far.
Sounds
When
like
are you
September.
coming, Hub? Are you coming down there?
It would be up there for me, but we'll go sometime.
Yes, it is up there. Are you planning a trip, or you have a professional thing up here? I
don't have anything going on in
Oh,
Tennessee.
good. Then if you go, I'm going to go. All right, let's wrap this month up. And we'll get you next month. We'll try to get to everybody every month here. We'll get to you early before I leave for Florida. Bay's coming up here to Philly. How long are you staying here, Bay in Philly?
I am coming in the night of the 19th, and I'm out the 22nd.
Can you believe? And I'll be in Sarasota.
That sucks.
I know. Appreciate everybody. Bay's going to get us out of here.
All right. Hey, whether you're uptown, downtown, all around, we don't know where we're going to be, but we are going to be with you every step of the way with Next Home Brandywine and Dan Pizzi. So make sure, go to nexthomebrandywine.com. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram, and we will direct you properly, safely, and securely every step of the way through your real estate process. Next Home Brandywine, Dan Pizzi, and all of his amazing staff. Until next time, next month, love you, see you, and goodbye.
Thanks, Hub. See you.
Thank you, Dan.